Where'd you go, Cause? Don't run away from me, you big, beautiful girl. What you doing, Cause? Hi, and welcome to Cockatoo. Cockatoos with attitude. Yeah, something like that. What do you think? You got any attitude in there, Cause? Do you? Lorelei. You can come over here, Lorelei. Yeah, Lorelai's a little upset with me because I've taken part of the blanket I have on the chair and cover my lap with it so that she won't eat my clothing. But she doesn't like the blanket. She wants to eat the clothing. Right, Cause? Right, Cause? Sugar bird? Sugar the bird. Sugar the bird. My sugar bird. My sugar. What? My sugary bird. That's a sugary bird. That's a sugary bird. You don't want your beak petted right now? Okay. She's so upset that I've been petting this one a little bit. Not supposed to pet the Jazz. That's a pretty song. That's a pretty song. Did you want to come over? I thought you did. Well, come on. Hey, Jazz. Yeah, you don't do that, do you? You don't come over and sit on my lap, do you, Sugar? No, Sugar won't do that. Nah. What with those feathers? What's with those feathers? What are you doing up there? No, I'm not putting you under the wings. No, I'm not. That little Jazz. And your Cause. What you doing, Cause? Hey, Cause. It's a little chilly out here, so they're all kind of
Well, Cozy looks super cute today.
Yeah, she's just a cute one. This one, aren't you? But don't be fooled when she decides she's gonna go for somebody. Boy, she moves like lightning. Don't you, girl? And then Romeo he's got his spot up there, which he can usually maintain until Snowball gets out here. And once Snowball gets out here, all Snowball has to do is walk over close to him, and that's it. He's out of there, and he'll go set up on the branches up in there. Usually, sometimes he'll come over and sit in my lap. Depends. Right, Rome. Lorelai's just sitting over there looking cold. Jazz, what's up, Jazz? What? You won't let me pet you? Well, you won't. I reach up and you pull your beak away. See? It's hard to pet a bird's beak when the beak keeps moving away. How am I supposed to pet you? How am I supposed to do that? Well, how? I don't understand. There you go. That's better. Hey. Hello, girl. We have an empty house today. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure there's nobody there. I felt like I was talking to the wall. There's nobody here. I didn't even know if we were connected.
Oh no, I thought you were about to say something. So I was like, okay, I'm waiting for you to say something, and then you didn't. So.
That was the same thing here, just waiting for someone to speak.
Because I feel like if I'm not careful, I speak over you.
That's okay. It's not a problem. Is it sugar? Is it sugar?
Sugar.
Well, now I can't fetch because someone decided to sit on my arm. Didn't you, Jazz? Did you decide to sit on my arm? Is that just by luck or by design you did that, huh?
I think she planned that.
I think so too. She's a smart one, aren't you?
So in the chat today, we have Lisa and Michelle and Falcon Sue and Barnamax. So hello to all of you guys.
Hello.
And Erin is here as well. Hello, Erin.
Hello.
And Lisa says, my Goffin Rico is over 35 years old. And I saw on Facebook a female Goffin getting medical care. She's 45 years old. Just wanted to share because they're so precious.
Oh, yeah. Well, they live so long. And they can live so long. There's some controversy about they had, I think his name was King, but he was a Moluccan and finally given into using that name. Down at the San Diego Zoo, and some people contest that he was there that long, but he was 103, I think they said, when he died. But a lot of people contest that, like, how do they know, how their record's that good, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they live a long time. That's all we need to know. Right? If the beak is petted enough, apparently. If I don't pet the beak enough, I'm not so sure.
Well, sure, if you'd sit in his lap, he could pet you more. She won't do that.
No, it's only been a couple of times, and every time is when she was emotionally it's just something happened to upset her, but otherwise she won't sit on me. And when she realizes she is sitting on me, it's like all of a sudden, whoops, I'm getting off here. But she'll usually let you pet the beak all day long.
Yeah, I remember one time she did that when we were having a meeting with you, and she just kind of flopped into your lap with her wings out and it like she was dying, and then we were like, oh my god, sugar. And then after about 10 minutes of that, she suddenly kind of looked around like, oh my god, what am I doing? And then like got up and was just like, okay, that was embarrassing.
She'll get right up on my head though, sit on the back of the chair and lean over on my head, or she'll pull the hairs out of my head. I keep telling her I have a bald spot and it's not getting any smaller with you around. She doesn't seem to listen to me about that though. Do you? Hi guys.
Pie Girl is here. Say hello, Pie Girl. Nice to see you.
Hello? Can you say hello? I know you can say a lot of things, but you won't do it, this girl. If you're lucky, you'll get her to go, hi. That's about it. I know she has a bigger vocabulary, but she won't use it. And cause you haven't said hi cockatoo in a while. You're supposed to say hi cockatoo.
Hi, cockatoo. Hi, cockatoo. So cute when she says that.
Hi, cockatoo. Hi, cockatoo. You want to get on my lap? Well, Laura isn't down here, so go ahead, get on my lap. Go on. Go on. That's what you want. Go ahead. Is that what you wanted? Okay. What are you doing? I'm not going to pet you too much because I know how you are. You'll start vibrating.
Oh, pussy.
Sugar bird. Hey guys. Hey guys. I'm petting the sugar bird, guys.
And Spirit Matter is here. Say hello, Spirit Matter.
Hello. Sorry, sugar. Got to warm the hand. It's getting a little hard to move my fingers. Ugh. Well, the update on the property is that I've answered the first round of questions. So they've approved the loan pending the answers to questions. But, after you give, I've talked to other people, I've not done this myself, but they say after you answer one set of questions, they always find another set. So, and then I have to provide some paperwork, probably have everything they need by Friday. So we'll see.
And there was a message earlier from Barna Max who said, I had two birds, Bracto and Peachy Poo, who I miss. They were both over 35 years old as well. And I had a stroke and nobody could deal with them. It's been 7 years. That's the trouble when you have these animals that live so long, because even with the best of intentions, sometimes things happen, don't they?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons it's so important for us to want to buy a home, because then, you have an investment there that'll keep the sanctuary going. So many sanctuaries are based in rentals, and because the people, when you got birds, it's kind of a joke when they talk about being a nonprofit. Yeah. And the other thing you have to take is a vow of poverty. You may not officially do it, but once you get some birds, you're taking a vow of poverty because you won't have any money. So, because they're expensive to care for. Every time you walk into the vet, it's like, oh, how about another $300? And well, we can do that. It's only $2,000. And even then, we don't have the knowledge, the veterinary knowledge about these guys to help them. I was talking to someone yesterday. Some vet had diagnosed their bird with PDD, and I said, "Well, how did they do that?" And I sent they sent stuff in for testing. I go, "Great. So how did they do that? It's nice that they sent the DNA test in, but did they do the X-rays?" Well, so this bird has had X-rays, and they do not have an enlarged proventriculus. They don't have any papillomas in their colon. No enlarged organs. So where did you come up with the diagnosis? Because the diagnosis is by observation through radiology to see whether or not they have enlarged organs, especially the proventriculus. And the DNA test should come back with Bornavirus, but there's 6 that I know of, 6 variations on Bornavirus, and only one of them causes PDD as far as we know. They've changed the name of that now, and I can never think of what it is, something gangliitis or whatever. But so that diagnosis is out the door. There is no test for PDD. It's by radiology and a positive Bornavirus test. just because a bird has born a virus doesn't mean it has PDD. So
Yeah, there's a lot of confusion out there about this, and even vets get confused. So it's can feel like the blind leading the blind sometimes.
yeah, but it's pretty straightforward. Enlarged proventriculus via X-rays, enlarged organs, and a positive BV test. That's it. That's the only way you can diagnose it. And apparently, this person was told that it was PDD without enlarged organs and without enlarged proventriculus. So, excuse me, how the heck would they know that? And they're never going to design a test for it because it doesn't affect humans and there's no money in it. So there's never, as far as I know, there will never be a test that's going to positively test for that disease because there's no bucks in doing it. So
Yeah, it's too bad, really.
unless a country like maybe Cuba or China decides to do it because the dollar isn't what leads them, but any place where money is king, they're not going to do it.
Well, maybe if it mutates to humans, then they'll do one.
Oh yeah, that's about the only way. Well, we've got one out here in Southern California. Oh, I got a funny thing. Try to remind me about the virus in California, but I was talking to the real estate agent, and she said, "Well, they still have to do the termite test. They have to come termite inspectors." And I said, "There's termites out there?" And she laughed. She goes, "No, but it's required by the VA." She said, "I've only seen termites out here one time." And she said that these people that were buying a house asked if, in the process before escrow closed, they asked if they could dump some wood on the property. These people lived in California, right? So they put this firewood on the property, and the firewood had termites.
Oh no.
So like all the rental agents and that kind of thing all came out to look like, wow, there's actually termites here. They were watching these termites go into a hole in the ground. They had to tent the building, but the thing is, the termites, there's nothing for them to survive there, so they wouldn't survive anyway. It's not the right climate for them, but that's the only time they've seen that the rental agent has ever seen termites there. The other story is in California, we have, I might have spoken about this before, but we have a problem with our rodents out here. They've seen this in squirrels, they've seen it in mice, and they've also seen it in rats, and it's the hantavirus. Now, the hantavirus is so bad, if you get it, you got about a 95% chance you're going to die. That's how bad the virus is, okay? And right now, it's only transmitted mostly by rodent feces. But if it ever goes airborne, you're going to think you're seeing COVID on steroids, because if this was airborne, it would be bigger than having the bubonic plague. You would just watch people dropping everywhere. And the sad thing is that there's still people in California who go out rabbit hunting and eat the rabbits. Now, rabbits can carry it. So that's normally how it gets into the human community. It's kind of like the animals that might eat a dead bat in China, that kind of thing, and then it ends up spreading the coronavirus. It's the same kind of thing. So one of our locals here who's going out rabbit hunting might actually be the person to start some huge plague.
Yeah.
Hey, no. Oh, I got away with having the hood on my head for a little while. He just pulled it off. I'm cold out here, buddy. You know I'm cold? You don't care, do you? You don't care? Yeah. Most of the diseases that affect these guys came from us, one way or the other. In the wild, they're pretty disease-free. Psittacosis came from us. couple of other ones they're gone, more or less gone now. I can't think of them. We have a video on that, all the different diseases that affect them. But PDD came from cattle. Any bornovirus is a cattle virus. So
It's kind of funny that it's called psittacosis if it came from us.
well, the other name for it is chlamydia.
Mm.
So
Although there's several strains of chlamydia, aren't there? I think.
yeah, this particular strain is the one that the birds picked up from us, but yeah, there's several.
There's one that the koalas have.
Yeah, fortunately, people don't live with koalas. I don't think they eat koala either, do they?
Although I think you can have your picture taken with the koala, because I think Harry Styles did that and then it pissed on him or something.
Yes, I was going to say that's what they smell like. Basically, they get stoned on eucalyptus and then just pee on themselves all day long. So they're
and apparently they're really stupid because they're basically brain damaged from eating poisonous food all the time.
yeah, the only time that they're aggressive is in mating season. And from what I understand, you don't want to be around a male one in mating season. They'll leap out of the trees and rip your eyes out. They're pretty. But then again, teasing my friend in Australia that that I was going to write a book about short book on Australia, about 6 pages long, friendly animals of Australia.
Cockatoos, budgies.
Yep. It's a stretch.
Some people.
I was teasing him too about I asked him about one of the snakes they have there. I said, you guys have something called the common death adder. I said, how common is it? And his response was, it's not common around here. Apparently they don't have them in the south, but they're fairly common up north. And if you're not carrying antivenin with you, you got about 20 minutes after one gets you.
Don't they have common murder magpies as well or something?
Oh, yes.
Murder crows.
Yeah, you get close to their nesting areas, they'll attack you, and they're serious about taking you down too. I mean, other birds will chase you. I've been chased by an owl in California, but because I was just playing like I was going around rabbit hunting. I wasn't intending to kill anything, but it was bow and arrow, right? Just out to plunk around with my bow and arrow, and this big old white owl. I heard this funny rushing noise behind me. I look up, there's this owl coming straight for my face. I just turned and ran. I did the Babalu. When danger rears its ugly head, you run. So,
yep.
Oh,
that's really funny. Spirit Matter said in the chat they eat kangaroos, and I saw that and I thought, what, koalas eat kangaroos? And then she said, oh, Australians eat kangaroos. I think I've eaten kangaroo, actually. I had a kangaroo burger. I think. I've eaten burgers of various things.
did you I was trying to think of some humor, but I can't. Something that your stomach start jumping after that, or
No, most of it was fine. And sorry, Erin, but I have eaten rabbit. Not in a burger, but I have eaten it.
yeah, I have a couple of times too. My grandfather, we used to one of the reasons I wanted to go to Nevada or to Arizona, which I'm glad I chose Nevada, but is because I used to spend my summers in the high desert with my grandparents. My grandfather was a monster, but here goes a plane overhead. I don't know how much you can hear, but wait till the plane goes by. Oh, no, don't whine. But he had an old Model T truck, and towards the end of summer, not during the summer, but when it was cool enough, we'd go. The reason it needed to be cool is because you didn't want the intestinal parasites of the rabbits. You wanted to make sure you got them when they weren't in the middle of summer. They tend to get a lot of parasites. So you'd go out when it's starting to get brisk in the fall, the end of summer or fall, and in this old Model T truck with no no air in the tires. We're talking hard tires on that thing. And the rabbits, when you were bouncing around, the rabbit would get caught with the headlights, and then they just stare at you, and then they just go plunk, shoot them, and that would be dinner for the next night. And so we'd go out and get 5 or 6 rabbits, and then have them for dinner the next night.
Although you have to have fat with rabbits, because if you eat only rabbits, then you get protein poisoning.
Yeah. Oh, my grandmother was pretty good. I don't know. I think she cooked them in butter, honestly.
Oh.
Same way she did turkeys. The way she cooked a turkey was kind of, I don't eat birds anymore, but the way she would cook a turkey was, after she'd stuffed it, and she always made her own fresh stuffing and all that, but we'd play canasta. And at the end of every round of canasta, she cooked it in a hotter oven, because she did it this way. You can't do this in the cooler oven, because if you do, you won't cook the turkey. She'd open up the oven door and baste it in butter, So this would be about every 20, 25 minutes, she'd be basting that thing in butter. And hers were definitely the best turkeys, but everybody kept talking, well, you can cook it in a bag. And my grandmother would say, yeah, I could throw it in a pot and boil it too, but it won't come out very good.
Well, that's the thing. There's loads of ways to do it, but there's the way that is worth doing.
Yeah, as my grandmother used to say, the best way to cook a turkey is when you're playing canasta. So.
Well, Spirit Matter says she's vegetarian, and Erin only eats seafood. No beef, pork, or chicken.
Yeah, what was it? Trying to think. Why can't I think of his name? It's Arthur. Darn it. The guy that went to Africa wouldn't even kill a mosquito. I can't even think of his name. But anyway, he said that I don't eat my friends, is what he said. Lorelai might eat her friends, though. Would you eat your friends, Lorelai? Yeah, I know she's on my lap. You weren't coming over here. You want to sit in my lap? No?
So cute.
Cause you want to go back up my shoulder for a minute? Come on, baby. Come on. Back up on my shoulder. Come on, Lorelai. Come on. Come on. I can see you want to come over. This is why she was hassling Romeo before. She wanted to sit on my lap. Now, don't you go running after her. You just chased her off. Darn it. Stop.
You girls.
You're not coming back on my lap. No, you're not going to go on my lap. Not after you did that, trying to scare her off. No. Cause, no. Hey, stop it. Hey, calm down. She's got that look about her. You're not going down on my lap now, because you're
no.
Getting a little
Is
aggressive.
she Killer Cos?
Yep, she's getting that Killer Cos look.
Killer Cosmo.
Oh. No, not doing that. Come here. No. Come here. No. It's not happening. Come here. You're not doing that. Come here. No. No, don't bang your head up and down and say yes. You're not going to bother her. Because the one that usually gets hurt is you. That's right. And I don't want my little girl hurt. You attack another bird. No, you're not getting on my lap either. No. Get back up here. You'll be good. She'll calm down.
She's such a sweet girl.
Let her in my lap, because when I let her in my lap, she gets like this. But Lorelai doesn't want to sit in my lap, then she can have a little bit of time. Yeah, my grandmother, my grandfather's place. I don't call him grandpa because nobody ever had a cute name for him. He was not your friendly person, but they had a place up in the high desert, a place called the Land of the Sun in Spanish, Tierra del Sol, and the Land of the Sun. And my dad put the plumbing in. The rest of the family built the house around it. He helped with that too, but he did the plumbing. There's all dirt roads to get to it. It's on 160 acres. Which, when the old man was getting ready to die, and he was in what I call a necropolis, which at that time they called a convalescent home, but he was never going to leave. His 5 sons were trying to steal his money, and my dad wouldn't let him. He said, "I know he's not a good person, but it's his money." So when it was all said and done, my mom and dad didn't take a penny of it. They just split everything that was left over to the 5 sons. And then basically I never heard of them again. They kind of just disappeared after that. My grandma lived with me for a while, lived with us, and I used to lose canasta to her fairly regularly.
Well, Alberto Gonzalez has joined us.
Hello.
He says hello from Spain. So welcome, Alberto. He says the birdies are que bonito.
Muy bonito. I've got to warm up my hand, Salamander. I know what you want, but my hand is so cold I can barely hold the phone, so I got to warm it up. I think I better put it on at least one more notch up here because it's not staying warm. Yeah, I'm hopeful that it's all going to go through now, but it only takes one thing. It only takes something to happen. So I've got experts working on the other side trying to make it happen that have been doing this for years. A good real estate agent who's handling all the stuff that needs to be handled there that I can't do, like the inspections and all that. And I've got a good lending agent who's leading me through the process properly.
Well, one way or another, you'll end up somewhere.
Oh yeah, we'll end up there somewhere, but I'm just hoping it's the place because I want them to have some security. And if you're in a rental, there's no security. They can tell you at any time to leave. So.
Yeah, and at the end, we don't want the birds to rob out our casino in Las Vegas.
Heck, there's casinos in Pahrump.
Don's 11.
They say that's where some of the best eating in that town is in the casinos. So.
Yeah, Pahrump looks like a lot of fun, to be honest.
Well,
near Death Valley, near Vegas, sort of out in the desert.
No, it's definitely desert. The average rainfall there is 5 inches a year. And they have water, but that's because there's mountains up behind the town. So the mountains get the water and then the water goes into the ground. That's how they have water. But
I think Lucy up there has noticed that Alberto Gonzalez had mentioned popcorn in chat. Now she wants to come down and get it. Where's the popcorn? She said.
Pop, 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 pop. Oh, you're gonna sit on my head again, that little girl? Yeah,
and Aaron has donated $20 for the move, so thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm actually thinking about how to get everything moved out there now, but I mean, I got to think about that anyway because we're going one way or another. But
actually, there's a YouTuber called Wonder Hussy who hangs out around that area. So she does all kinds of hiking and urban exploration videos. So she goes to random places in the desert and does exploring. So maybe you could do a furry sanctuary and Wonder Hussy go up.
yeah,
She seems like a nice lady.
Yeah, and for short jaunts, I can take a couple of birds with me and on avian harnesses, and we can go wandering around, see if we can find some arrowheads. Apparently there's quite a few of those you can find.
It's amazing what there is to find out there in the desert.
Yeah, I love the desert though. I mean, that's just.
For the birds, we might need a garden sprinkler because as we have seen that they enjoy the rain.
Yeah.
As long as no one thinks that you're trying to grow a lawn.
No,
If
you're not.
if you run out of town.
Yeah, no lawns allowed out there. No wasting of water.
Spirit Matter suggests in chat to start an Amazon wish list for moving boxes and stuff like that.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Can we put a truck driver on the Amazon wish list?
Yeah, I need to put a truck driver on there too. Yeah. Can't drive the birds and drive the truck with the stuff. And no one in their right minds would drive the birds except me. So I know how they.
The precious cargo.
Yeah. Well, they're around strangers too. You know, when they're around strangers inside in the vehicle, they tend to be loud. Sometimes I have to take my chances on the road too and put my, you're not allowed to wear, which is stupid. You can't wear two AirPods in your ears when you're driving, because actually you can set them to amplify the outside sound. The only thing is if the birds start screaming, then it'll immediately clamp down. So I don't, it doesn't blow my eardrums out.
Well, Spirit Matter wants to know if any of the birds would be up for free flights in the desert. That could be fun.
Free flight, not until I've got them trained to come back. But in the desert, it's not quite so bad because it's flat land, and as long as they can see you, they'll come back. But in a place like this, or any place where there's cover, you don't want to do it unless they're really trained, and you got to keep your eyes on them. There's people out in La Jolla here who take their birds out at the cove, and you could see for miles around there, so it's not a problem. They fly them over the ocean. But yeah, there's seagulls there too, but the seagulls don't win against 4 or 5 large parrots flying. So seagulls may be vicious, but they're not smart. So yeah. This is the point where you start chomping at the bit. Will it happen? Will it happen? Will it happen?
Yeah, you want it to happen, but then when you hear that it is, it's like, oh God, now I've got to organize it.
Yeah. Well, I'm good at that situation. That's where I shine. When there's an emergency and I have to get something going, I can do that. But the problem is when I finally get to sit down after all that, I just fall apart. But I'm good with the initial situation. Just like when the flood happened down there, boy, I started moving, making calls, getting things done. And then at the tail end of it, when it came to like getting the last of stuff, I just didn't care. I mean, there wasn't much left there, and I just didn't care because the birds were safe. Everything was set up. They had a place. I had the aviary out here, and at least we had a temporary place. And then that's when I fell apart. I'm good in a crisis, but the aftermath is not good.
But the thing is, once you're in your own place, if you fall apart there, then it's your place, so you can fall apart as much as you like.
Yeah. The birdie's place.
And in a way, it's kind of good that you had the roof and then the fire and then the flood. So you've kind of thinned out some of the stuff and you've figured out how to to fit them all in the van and what you need to take for your emergency gear. So in a way that makes it easier.
Yeah, and we had a great supporter for a while who's got dementia now, and basically just sitting in her living room watching television all day, and with somebody coming in to make sure that she's not dead, that kind of thing, which is sad. But I had a truck, which wasn't the best thing to have with the birds, but it's what I had, and I bought it from the people who had Coco. And when my little Prius died, it's the only car I ever, new car I ever bought. I wish I hadn't, because it was expensive every month to make that payment, and it was hard to do. But it went bye-bye, and then we got the truck. And then when the truck died, I called her up because I was supposed to see her. I was doing her computer guy, right? So I called her up and said, "I'm supposed to see you today, but I've got to take the truck in because something happened to the engine." And then I found out that the engine was pretty much toast. And I said, "It's going to be a couple of days while I look for a vehicle. I got to get a car." And she says, "You don't need a car. You need a van." I said, "Yeah, well, I can't afford a van." And she had me look for one, and she bought us this van. I found this van. It had 10,000 miles on it, got 25 miles to the gallon, and it was used by economy truck rental. So that's why we have. And then we got a grant, so I bought cages and put the cages in there, and it's got cages secured in position, all the same distance apart and everything, so I can load the birds in there and take them when there was an emergency. I've had to use that twice. A fire, and the time when they were redoing the roof. I couldn't be there when they were redoing the roof. So yeah, I've got it all ready to load them in. That's not well. I have one problem. I got to redo a cage for somehow to get that one cage for Cecil. I'd taken these dividers that you put between cages to separate them, and I put them all around the outside of this one cage because Cecil just rips these cages apart. He just doesn't matter how well it's built, he'll take it apart unless it's got the bead welding. So I'll have to do one more. I'll have to make one of those up for him, or put a small cage inside of a large cage, something like that. But
like Russian doll cages.
Can't just stuff him into the van. I mean, the van it's perfect. You mean just open the side door and just go in. Well, 12 against one wall of the van, and I have the electrical set up so I can run like a HEPA filter if there's a fire or something. That's not really a problem where we're going. It's possible a home will burn down out there, something like that, but there's nothing to catch fire outside that. So it's not like we're going to have a huge fire that's going to wipe everything out. So fire insurance is really cheap there. That's the other thing. Insurance is going to run just a little less than $1,000 a year, which is pretty good for home insurance. So that transport thing is all ready to go. And the electric on there, I'm going to use to keep their medicine at the right temperature. I've got my fancy little wine cooler with their medicine in it, and a dehumidifying rod that keeps the temperature in there between 71 and 73 Fahrenheit all the time. So got to make sure the medicine doesn't get hit by temperature on the transport. So that's the other thing. I'm probably going to have somebody pick that medicine up and drive it out there. I don't know what chances are I'm going to get a vet that's going to give us the pricing we're getting on this, but
yeah. So anyone in the Southern California, Nevada area who has a nice air-conditioned car and doesn't mind transporting the household, please volunteer in the chat.
Oh, we've got that covered.
Okay.
We got that covered because I have the electric in the van that I can plug right into, and it doesn't take much electricity.
Okay, that's fine then.
It has a piezoelectric cooler, and then it has a 6-watt dehumidifying rod, which is just a rod that gets warm. You use it in gun cases and stuff like that. And then it has a controller that I bought separately. All this is hooked up separately. So the controller turns one or the other on, but depending on what the temperature is inside the box. So my own little thing. I could not find a medicine cooler that does what I needed it to do. So I made my own, sort of. Yeah, that's a big issue, but I mean, the medicine is that I'm going to have to make a trip to get the medicine or have somebody pick the medicine up when the time does come. Right now, I've got enough to go about 8 months. So
Nice.
already picked up extra. Right, Cause? What's everybody doing? Let's see if I can do this with a hand that is not frozen. Rome is still sitting on his little perch back there. Lorelei is cleaning her feet. That's interesting. Jazz is preening. Are you preening, Jazz? Lucy's just trying to stay warm. She's got that bald patch, so. And Sugar's back there. Don't want to get her attention. She'll start whining again. She's happily preening right now. And you got back on my lap. Isn't that sneaky? Get back on my shoulder. Thank you.
It's all very calm and quiet in the aviary right now. We're all being good little buddies.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be like that for another, let's see, what time is it? About another hour before I bring the boys out. I already chopped up all the vegetables for the base for their mash, which I make once a week. The base is made once a week, then I make the other part of it. No, you're not sneaking your way down. Get back on the shoulder. Come on. It's very sneaky, but you can't do that now. Well, since it was so cold out here, I took the time to chop everything up. So now all I have to do is put it into the food processor and make it into smaller pieces and then throw it into a pot. Well, actually, it's a pressure cooker. So cook it for 15 minutes in the pressure cooker, let it cool off to about 120 degrees, and then throw in a whole bunch of ground up pellets. Lorelei.
Igor was asking about the vet situation in the area you are going to.
They've got lots of avian vets out there, which is one of the reasons we're choosing that place, is because there's 3 good avian vets and one of them is 24-hour. So there's other vets too out there that claim to be bird vets, but there's 3 actual avians out there. So if vets go on vacation, you still have places you can go. Although if you had to go to a regular vet, I'd probably know more than they did about bird physiology, which is sad to say. But they do have 3 avians out there, and we're losing them out here. So Jenkins is he should have retired by most standards. Most other vets would have retired maybe 10 years ago. But he likes doing what he's doing, and he likes helping birds, so he doesn't want to retire. But he's going to eventually. And that's a 2-hour drive. The next closest avian vet is about a 2.5-hour drive. Dr. Young's not that far away. He's only an hour, but he's a exotics vet that worked at for the San Diego Zoo, the Zoological Society at the Crest Center, and he's knowledgeable, but I mean he's got his limitations, and he knows it. He doesn't do bird surgery, any major bird surgery. He can do like a cloacopexy or some basic stuff. He can, he's really good at, if you have a bird that has damaged itself, he's good at solving that kind of problem. Mutilators and that kind of stuff. But anything you have to go internally, you have to go to Jenkins. So get out there, get situated, go out and get the recommendations from the local rescue, who's the best vet, and go and get at least one appointment and talk to him. I'll have to take Pippa in probably. If she does another egg, she's got to go in. So she's already done way too many. But getting her in the...
Do you think there's another one on the way, or is she staying at the same weight?
Her weight's looking okay right now. A little bit up, but not like it was before. So I'm crossing my fingers, but we got to get her out of that night cage and into a day cage. That's important. So I don't know anybody in National City, so somebody was trying to call me. I just sent it to voicemail. What are you doing, Jazz? Jazzy Jazzbird. Jazzy Jazzbird. Oh, there's that Lucy girl. Pretty bird? Is that a pretty bird? Pretty bird? Pretty bird?
I wonder if when you get to your new place, you'll go into the vet for the first time to meet them, and then you'll have another sugar situation where you go in with 2 birds and come back with 3.
I've always, if we get there to that, in a reasonable amount of time, there's a guy I met over the internet who's in Alaska who has a bird that is a mutilator, and unfortunately not the bird, my friend is in the hospital, the VA hospital, and he's going to be there for another couple of months, and he's wondering if I can take his bird, and I said of course. So the key is it's a mutilator. So if it was a perfectly normal bird that had no problems, I'd have to say no, because there's other, well, I wouldn't absolutely say no, but it's not, he's going to definitely have to take it back, but I'll keep it for as long as he wants. But the bird's really plucking itself right now, and there's nobody up there that has a clue what to do about it. So, people are taking care of it. I mean, it's getting fed and it's getting out and that kind of thing, but they don't, they can't give it medicine because the bird doesn't like getting medicine. So you have to either train them to accept it, which he did, or but it's an individual thing where I can get someone like Sugar to take her medicine. It'll be a bit of a challenge for anybody who doesn't get trained by me to do it. So we may have 12 when we get there within a couple of days.
Oh.
Which, until I get more volunteers, 12 is about it. That's the max I can handle. So
I think 12 is a nice round number.
it's the waiting. It's just, I read about somebody who was talking about, he bought a home in Puerto Rico, and he went down there and he found the one he wanted, and he wanted to buy it. So they sat down in a coffee shop, and he gave who was it? They have somebody that's kind of like a mortgage lender, but it's not quite the same thing. He gave him $500 for the transaction, and then paid for the house, because it wasn't that expensive down there, like $30,000 or something. He paid in cash, and that was it. It was his. None of this, all the stuff you have to go through here, and even here, if you start to pay in cash, they don't want it. They don't want you to pay in cash because they think it's drug money or something. Yeah, that was his that day. Yeah. Here,
that sounds nice.
And you get to twiddle your toes and tap your fingers and like, is it gonna go through? Is it gonna happen?
They're building the anticipation.
Now you made me think of Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah,
Anticipation.
that was my idea.
It worked. Ugh.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
I don't know why when you say that, I get the feeling I'm standing in a theater with a cape around my shoulders.
I've never actually seen the Rocky Horror Show in the theater. I've only seen the movie, but I'd love to see it.
You got to see it in the theater. It's not. I mean, the movie's kind of silly, but the way it's done, and if you've never seen it in the theater, I won't tell you. There's a secret. If you know it, it will make your experience less enjoyable if you know the secret. So I won't tell you.
Aren't you supposed to not wear a stripy shirt or something?
No, that's not it. Yeah. They can tell if you've never been to a live show. They can tell.
Because I know you're meant to bring a newspaper to put on your head and shout various things at the screen.
Well, you don't have to have a newspaper. You can get it there, but it doesn't hurt to bring your own. Some theaters will let you light up big lighters in the theater. Some won't. Some will let you throw cards. It depends on the theater and the cast. If the cast stays behind and cleans, then they can get away with a lot. People run through it in the rain scene with spray bottles spraying you. That's why you need the newspaper to cover your head, because if you don't, you're going to get wet. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it looks like Erin's been. She says, "Ha ha, I'm not going to tell."
Yeah, I ran Spotlight for 6 months for Midnight Insanity, and then I played Frank in the Master's Servants in Colton for 13 weeks. My problem is it's really hard for me to stay up late, and you don't get to sleep because you get there at 10 o'clock and you set up and the show starts at 12, and then you leave and you go to Denny's and you eat, and by then the sun's up. So the old day. Wouldn't do it today. I have too much to do, too many birds to care for. I wouldn't go, but
Oh, you could do your own version at home with the birds.
with the birds, yeah, that would be fun. I guess Bob would have to be Frank. Oh, and Cecil's definitely Riff Raff. And Sugar is Magenta.
Yeah. Pippa could be Columbia.
Yeah, Columbia. Yeah. Trying to think. Oh yeah, Mander could be Brad.
What about Dr. Scott?
That would have to be Cecil. I mean Cecil. That would have to be Romeo.
And Janet?
Lorelei.
Lorelei. Oh yeah, Brad and Janet, of course. Cecil
Yeah,
and Lorelei.
Janet. No.
And the rest of the flock could just be the party goers.
Can you imagine her in a little gold hat, a little gold top with sequin?
Oh, well, that would be precious.
It would be precious. My ex-wife could actually make costumes for all of them. She's really good at that. She can make like the corsets for Bob, so that Bob would have his own little corsets on. I could just see Bob going, "You're not putting that on me." It ain't gonna happen.
Well, these guys like musicals, so they might enjoy it.
Oh yeah, they've watched that a couple of times. They like it. They like that in the Little Shop of Horrors too.
Mm.
Well, folks, it's getting late, so I'm gonna have to go, but keep your fingers crossed. So far, everything's moving along. We just have to hope that the lender does the final approval, even though they say how can you say the loan is approved with questions? You know, it's like, that's like saying we're about ready to approve your loan, but we need these answered. That's not what they say. They say the loan is approved, but we have questions.
Well, it's like having your thesis accepted with corrections.
Yeah, I guess, or like the gun is ready to fire, but does it have bullets? I don't know. It's weird.
The trigger's been pulled, but the hammer isn't pulling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Eleanor and Anne-Marie, for being here to help with the video. And I hope everybody enjoyed the birdies. The birdies. And keep your
thanks for the stream, Don.
Oh, you're welcome. And keep your fingers crossed, folks. Well, unless you're driving.
Safety first.
And we'll see you next time, maybe an earlier one. If we get news sooner, we'll hop online, let you guys know. So it's perump or bust. So say bye, Jazz. Bye, Jazz. Bye, Jazz.